movement survives without organizing and supporting the people who've been arrested in that movement. You cannot survive as a movement if you don't stand up for your vote.
This is Jamie Marsicano, a UNC law student and one of 61 individuals charged with racketeering in a sweeping 109-page indictment filed by Georgia Attorney General Christopher Carr's office. Like Priscilla Grimm, Jamie is also among the 23 people arrested and charged with domestic terrorism at a music festival held by opponents of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, or Cop City, as it's known by most. If convicted of racketeering charges, Jamie and the other 60 individuals charged with her face up to 20 years in prison. The Attorney General's indictment says the group is classified as domestic violent extremists. This is episode 2 of our docu-series on the Atlanta 61, and today we're in North Carolina's Research Triangle to find out who Jamie Marsicano is, in her words.
My hero of the week is Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr. He filed RICO charges this week against some real insurrectionists.
With domestic terrorists, anarchists, whatever you want to call them, a lot of out-of-state people that, really shouldn't have a dog in this fight or come into our city.
Hey.
Hi.
Thanks for taking the time, Jamie.
Yeah.
You want to go grab a...
Oh, I can't. This is UNC's campus, and I'm currently banned. I have a student here, but I'm banned physically from the campus because of the charges, so I actually can't go this way.
Okay. Oh, well, let's go over here then. I just tried to walk us on the campus, and you said that you couldn't. Is that because of the racketeering charges?
Well, I was originally arrested in March for domestic terrorism, is the charge that the bogus charge that they gave me. And I was in jail for 3 weeks. And when I got released on an ankle monitor. And because of the charges, the university kind of made me go on my own trial as to whether or not within the university I should be allowed to come to school. The law school was really advocating for me to stay, the law school administration, but the larger university in the end decided that they think that I'm too much of a threat to the student body and to the campus, and so I am allowed to continue my studies, but I'm not allowed to actually physically be on the campus or interact with students.
Although the university seems to believe that Jamie is a danger to other students, her fellow students' actions show a different understanding of her.
Has stood by us all the way, and now it's our turn to stand by her. She should be not on campus because she makes our lives better. We need to make her life better in return.
On April 14th, over 100 students walked out of class. They marched from the law school to the chancellor's office, delivering a letter demanding that Jamie be allowed back on campus.
Jamie's not in class. We are not in class.
Because of these charges, I probably won't be able to get a attorney license, a bar license. I'm banned from more places than I'm not. I can't leave the country. I can't go to Georgia. I can't go on campus. I can't get a lease because I can't pass a background check. It's kind of like going with who can put you up.
Have you been convicted of domestic terrorism?
No.
Have you been convicted of racketeering?
No.
So all this is happening just because of the accusation?
Yes, and that is how the criminal justice system works. That's what they do to everyone who they label a criminal, right? Like, people who are impacted by the criminal justice system, who are criminalized, the state kind of makes it hard to participate in society at all. And of course, that has to do with systemic racism, classism. And here it has to do with criminalizing our political views or criminalizing dissent. And so I do think that when we're put in jail, when we're put on an ankle monitor, when we're called terrorists, we need a lot of support to get through that. And it's trying to separate us from the community, just make it easier to prosecute.
So you can't go into this?
Yeah, if it's like a school building, I can't go in. They said if they see me on campus, they'll arrest me. But like a store next...
coffee shop?
Yeah, I could go in there.
You can go to the coffee shop in the school building.
Well, I guess like the coffee shop isn't actually the school, so I can go there. But if it's a school building, I can't. I don't know.
Okay, you can go here, right?
Yes, I've been spending a lot of times in coffee shops, which has definitely been interesting ever since getting back. Can I just get a avocado, please? I'm obsessed with it.
Did you want whole milk?
Yes, please. I try and think a lot about how much the jails take away our ability to consent and to have our own autonomy. But I didn't, when you're actually experiencing it, when I actually experienced it myself, it felt incredibly disempowering in a way I couldn't imagine until it was happening to me.
Were you able to do anything to keep yourself sane in all of that?
I really had to rely on the people I was in jail with. I didn't know how to live in jail and how to survive there. And I'm so grateful for the guys I was in jail with who taught me how to sharpen a pencil on the bottom of the table so that I could write a postcard back to someone who had written, or who taught me how to make ramen in the sink of the bathroom so that I could get food because we really didn't have any kind of food. All of these things, even just how to use the shower, the guys who I got put in jail with kind of took me under their wing to show me how to survive in there. They taught me how to make ramen and feed myself from the commissary, and I, who had so much support from outside, was able to share the commissary that I had access to because people wanted to put money on my books because I was in this spotlight as someone arrested around Cop City. And
Is that mutual aid?
I think that's mutual aid, and I think that the way we survive state repression, which everyone inside a jail is facing state repression no matter why they're there, the way we survive is by loving each other and helping each other through it. We can't do it alone. And for this reason, I just think that we should all be more like prisoners who kind of realize we have nothing to lose. Outside of the jail, outside of the cage, we feel like we have more autonomy. But look, even if you say stop Cop City, you could be labeled a terrorist. And so I think we have so much to learn from the way prisoners love each other.
If I recall correctly, you had a birthday while you were in jail?
Yep, I turned 30 in DeKalb County Jail.
How was that?
It was definitely the hardest birthday of my life, but in some ways the most special because of the way that I was loved by the other guys in jail with me. When I first got into the pod, I was a little nervous. I'm a fairy. I didn't know how it was gonna be me and 30 dudes, but they didn't really care about my queerness. They loved me just because I was there. On my birthday, I was trying to read emails from my friends on the little kiosk of the jail, and I just heard a scream, and from the top of the balcony in the pod, the people in my pod, the other inmates, they made a parade and started singing happy birthday for me, and they paraded down the stairs. I immediately just burst into tears, and the guy at the front of the parade was holding a cake over his head, and basically everyone had contributed pieces of their commissary to make a cake for my birthday that we could all share. And so it was smashed up honey buns and Oreos and chocolate bars that people could get from commissary. They put it together to make this layered cake. And then they took pink Kool-Aid to make it pink and used peanut butter as icing to put a flower on it. So they gave me a pink cake with a flower on it for my birthday. It was as if they had known me my entire life. That is so me. And from 30 dudes in jail, it was the most magical and most important gift I've ever received because they made it with everything they had, and then we shared it together.
Did you expect to find that sort of community in jail?
Absolutely not. I think there's a lot of stereotypes, right? And that goes back to the criminalization. There's a lot of stereotypes about who is in jail. And there's stereotypes that people are mean or hard, or that it's dangerous to be in there with other criminals. It was dangerous to be in there because of the way the COs treated and because of the way that the facilities were just so inhumane. But it was actually the other people in jail who were keeping each other safe.
The indictment makes the case that acts of emotional and personal support by individuals alleged to be part of the movement against Cop City are intended to maintain loyalty to the supposed criminal enterprise at its core. According to Jamie, however, acts of solidarity and support are natural, not exceptional.
I think that criminalization, police violence, all of that is unnatural. And what we're really supposed to do as people is to take care of each other and support each other. And that to me is what it is to be human. And so that is why I think we have so much to learn from prisoners and incarcerated people, because the situation in a cage is so dire that people really don't have any choice but to support each other. And that is really what we need to realize, is that even outside, even in the so-called free world, the police state is trying to repress us on all sides, in particular communities especially. And so we don't actually have a choice. We have to come together, and we have to build ways of keeping each other safe and keeping each other afloat that don't rely on the police and the state.
So, I'm trying to reconcile this picture that is painted of you by the Attorney General with this person I've been talking to all day, who keeps talking about community and care and support and mutuality. I have to ask, are you a terrorist?
No.
Are you a racketeer?
No, but I guess that is my point, is what do these words even mean, right? Going to a music festival is called being a terrorist, but when the police in Atlanta murdered Tortuguita with their hands up, that's called public safety. A bunch of people who don't know each other, or I don't know anyone until I got to jail with them, can be in a racketeering organization, but the real conspiracy is that the city council in Atlanta are suppressing people's votes in trying to stop Cop City through a referendum. So I think when we use these words like conspiracy, racketeering, terrorism, we're not actually talking about anything but power and disempowerment. And the state, the police, the voter repression that's happening, all of this is obscured when these state actors can point to us and blame us for problems in our community, that in reality we're just trying to care for each other, where the state falls short of that.
Knowing how this has all turned out 8 months later since this all started, and knowing how your community's turned up for you and how the state continues to come down on you, would you change anything about 8 months ago?
I'm in this situation because of nothing to do with me. It's the state's fault. I couldn't have really made any other choices differently, and I would still be here. But the way that my community in North Carolina has surrounded itself around me so that I can have a better chance of surviving this has been so beautiful and important, and is teaching me that when our communities face state repression, it is so scary, but the way that we survive it is by leaning into each other and getting each other free by loving each other. The police state can't actually kill community, because that is what makes us human. And so they can try so hard, but we will continue to care for each other. We will continue to hold each other close, and we will continue to find ways to keep each other safe without relying on these violent, deadly tactics that the police use.